welcome back to another video. So I have never been this excited to make a video about a cruise. Like, I'm so excited to talk to you about my recent cruise on MSC. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm very excited about every cruise I go on, and I'm always very excited to tell you about it because that's the reason why I do this channel. But this recent cruise on MSC Virtuosa that me and my dad went on was just fantastic. So I'm so happy to be able to have this platform to talk to you about my experience, the overview, sort of the review of the whole experience, the food, the cabin, just everything. Because, spoiler alert, it was all just fantastic. So I'm going to talk you sort of through in chronological order. So from when we checked in, the check-in embarkation process, to literally us getting off and then coming home, because we were really angry that we had to come off the ship. And the reason why I want to talk about embarkation and disembarkation is because that process was so seamless, and it was probably the quickest and most efficient check-in experience that I've ever had from Southampton. So prior to the cruise, we were looking at how to get to Southampton. We were thinking of driving, we were thinking of getting the train, we were thinking of getting a family member to drop us off and then pick us up. So we were sort of researching the different options. And because MSC Virtuosa was docked in the Horizon cruise terminal, which is a cruise terminal I've never docked at, I've never been to, so even I was very much like, I have no idea what I'm doing, I don't know where this terminal is, even though it's literally just on the same row as like the City, the Mayflower, they're all on the same line, so you're going to that same location. It's just the Horizon is literally as you get into the main area of the terminals, the docks, you can literally see the ship right there. Anyhow, So I was researching. I didn't really know the parking situation. I was thinking, because I am very, very familiar with Southampton because I work in Southampton, I was thinking let's just park in a car park that I'm familiar with, that I know. So we were thinking let's just park in West Quay, which was £7 per day, and then just walk to the terminal. But then we thought no, because the walk is actually about 15 minutes, and for us that's not the experience that we want to start off our holidays, to park in a car park that isn't 1000% secure anyway. They don't have sort of patrol or anything like that overnight. It's not a secure car park overnight, so we were a bit apprehensive. And then I found ABP parking, which is ABP is Associated British Ports. I did get that right. I was just checking on my phone. I was very apprehensive then. I was like, that's not the right word, but it is Associated British Ports is what it stands for. But yeah, we got AB parking, and the car park where you park is literally about 15-20 steps away from the Horizon cruise terminal. So we thought, let's just do that. And then I became one of those people that was looking in the Facebook groups, as you do, just checking to see if anyone's familiar with it, and I basically just searched the word just to see if anyone else has searched it in any groups before, and they had. And not only had they talked about it, they gave me a discount, so I'm very pleased with that. If you want to park there, as far as I'm aware, the discount for 2024 is ABP MSC 24. So ABP MSC, which is the MSC cruise line, and then 24 for the year. That's how we got, I think it was 15% off if I'm remembering correctly. But it came to, so we had the 2 nights parking there, so essentially we had it from Thursday afternoon, Friday till Saturday morning. That came to £63.75 with the discount, which I think is not too bad for sort of 3 days parking. And not only that, it is a secure car park, it's 24-hour patrol, so I was very comfortable with leaving my car there. So in terms of getting there and parking, when you book with ABP parking, you actually get like a parking permit, which is basically just a piece of paper that you fold up that you have to print off when you've made a confirmed booking, they send it to you, you print it off, and you just have to put it in your dash as you're driving in, so the port agents can direct you to the correct car park. So we got there about, I think about 1:30, and there was barely anyone there. I found out later that MSC check-in starts at 10 AM, so I think we were one of the latest people, which was quite nice actually, because I'm used to getting to terminals for like P&O, Princess, any, you know, any other cruise line at like 1 o'clock, and it would be like the busiest it's ever been. So it was quite nice to get there at 1:30. Parking was an absolute breeze. We literally just drove into the car park. There was a guy there just saying, yeah, thanks for putting your permit on your dash as you drive in, and then we just had to follow the directions of the people in the car park. And it was very similar to, if you've ever been to like a theme park or like a Disney theme park or anything like that, when you drive into somewhere like the car park, and they have people there sort of helping you park, like they'll sort of keep coming, stop over here to this one, to that one. So it was very, very smooth, and we literally got in, parked, we only had one medium suitcase for the two of us, and then yeah, literally about 10 seconds later we were going through security. You go through first at the Horizon terminal. I don't know why, but to be honest, we actually preferred that. It was nice going through and doing all of that, and you know, unbuckling your belt and all of that before, and then you go up an escalator and then you check in. There was no queue for check-in when we got there. We had a very nice lady who literally just put stickers, like the green good to go, okay to board stickers on our boarding passes, and then within literally about 5 minutes from parking the car, we were on board. Now, I've not had the feeling of going on board a cruise ship and being like wowed for so long, but it happened to me going on board MSC Virtuosa for the first time in years. Not because any other ships have just not been the wow factor, but I'm very familiar with the other ships that I've been on, or I've been on them before, and with MSC I hadn't really done much research at all. I'd done bits just so I know where our cabin is and things like that, but we went on board, me and my dad, not really having a clue. And that's why we got on board, and as you sort of go on and like have your boarding passes scanned, you come out into the promenade, which was my favourite part of the whole ship. I cannot tell you how many times me and my dad walked up and down that promenade because we loved it so much. And there's so much around you. There's a chocolate shop, there's a bar, there's a quiz going on, there's the theatre, a silent disco randomly appears out of nowhere. It was just the best part of the ship. As we were walking through the promenade, we actually remembered we have to go to our cabin. So let's go and see our cabin. So we went up. It was really easy to navigate. One thing I will just say now that I absolutely loved about MSC, and I think Royal Caribbean and Princess are starting to do it, the lifts, the elevators, you don't actually go into the lift and press a button. You actually press the deck that you want to go to, and then the screen outside the bank of lifts will actually tell you which number lift to go to. So they only accept those, obviously, people that are going in that lift, only calls to those specific decks that you've asked to go to, which I think is so good, so easy. There was no sort of climbing over each other to try and just press a button. It was amazing. So that in itself was something that I think other cruise lines need to do. But as soon as we got up to deck 11, we were 11132, and we absolutely loved the cabin. Now, the cabin was modern, it was clean, it was ready when we got there, which usually MSC say they get, like, they're ready at like 2ish. We probably got on at probably about 1:45. Yeah, probably about 1:45. And it was ready. Our cards were outside the little door. We just had to open the little thing and get your cards out, as you do. And yeah, we were straight away just sitting on the balcony, looking in all the drawers like you do, even though there's not anything else in there. You know, no surprises or anything. But it was such a nice cabin, really modern. We loved the sort of grey wood in the cabin, because I know a lot of cruise lines just stick to the brown wood, which is I think is really old-fashioned. But yeah, I think it was so modern, really nice balcony space, perfect for the two of us. Really lovely view. We couldn't fault the cabin. And then it was time to explore Everywhere we went, we were just blown away. The first place we went to was obviously the buffet. We wanted some food. I cannot tell you, I did say this on my MSC Virtuosa vlog, the food was fantastic. I cannot fault it. There was so much variety, there was so much to choose from. It was hot, it wasn't lukewarm. It was fantastic, the food. We then went sort of round the ship. We went to the sort of the top open decks. Everyone was already sunbathing, drinking. They were definitely starting their 2-night mini break. We obviously weren't on. Well, I don't drink. Dad had a couple of beers, but we're not really party people. We didn't go on this intentionally to have a party. We just wanted to try out a new cruise line, but everyone was definitely having a fabulous time drinking, partying. There was music. It was such a great vibe. We then obviously spent about an hour around the promenade, just walking, looking in the places, looking in the shops as we sailed away. It was, yeah, the ship in itself is definitely the best ship I've ever been on. It's my favourite ship. It was Queen Anne literally for about a month but now it's MSC Virtuosa for sure. I just want to circle back on the food really quickly because I forgot to mention this. I had read so many negative reviews that the food was inedible, it was cold, it was disgusting, it wasn't like, you know, anything you'd get at home, you know, it just wasn't good food. I don't know where they were getting that opinion from. I obviously know every experience is different and I was only on the cruise for 2 nights, but based on this, just based on my experience, the food was fantastic. So I just really want to reiterate, take bad reviews and negative reviews with a pinch of salt because a lot of comments are subjective. Okay, a lot of comments is just they're unhappy because they didn't like how spicy the pepperoni was on the pizza. That I don't think's really something to complain about because you're just, you know, that's your preference. But a lot of the comments were similar to that, so they're very subjective. So I just think take that with a pinch of salt. Don't read the reviews and go, oh no, they didn't like the food, so it's going to be horrific. That means I won't like the food either. Please don't do that because every experience is different, and I can categorically say my experience with the food was nothing but positive. So just please remember that. Another thing I want to talk about is the service, because this is also something I'd read like mixed reviews on. Like I'd read that some people were really rude, some people were blunt, no one was smiling, no one, like service was slow, like waiting 45 minutes for a drink. Again, we didn't experience any of that. Like even at the buffet where you were sat, you could literally press a buzzer for a drink and a waiter would come over and take your drink order. Dad wanted a beer, he pressed the buzzer, not even a minute later, literally not a minute later, a waiter came over, took the order, took my card, scanned it, all done. Literally about another minute later, he came back with it, all smiley, you know, there you go, thank you, you're very welcome, have a lovely time. There was no unhelpfulness, there was no one being blunt, there was no one like not wanting, like looking like they not wanted to be there. Everyone was so happy, everyone was like really happy to help, everyone was saying welcome as you walked into a room. I didn't get any bad vibe from any of the staff. The activities were really good. There was some quizzes, there was a silent disco, there was so much to sort of just see and look at as well, which I think was really nice. Even just sitting outside and, you know, either sunbathing or just sitting outside and reading a book. There was a DJ, they had the football on, there was so much to do. You can look in the shops. I didn't get bored, which, I mean, not that I get bored on cruises, but I know on other cruise lines I've been on, sometimes you are a bit like fed up with the same thing happening all day every day. So I didn't get that here. Like I was excited to sort of go, oh, look at this, look at that. So yeah, there was definitely a lot more to do than on other cruise lines, I would say. Also on this cruise, we stopped in Le Havre in France, which was nice. I mean, we've docked in France before in Le Havre and I didn't get off because I don't particularly that doesn't really appeal to me, but Dad wanted to get off, so of course we got off. On this cruise it was really, really nice because we docked at 7 AM and sail away wasn't until 9 PM, so we had over 12 hours in this port, which is really rare. A lot of ports, if you're there just for the day, you'll kind of be there like 9 till 4, almost like an office shift or something like that, but you were there for like half of a day, which was really, really good. And it was nice as well because you got there really like early morning, and then you could maybe go off and then come back on for lunch and then get off again and then come back on for dinner. So there was different things that you could do. When we were actually there, I did mention it briefly on the vlog, there was a whole event ready for the Olympic torch to come in, obviously because the Olympics it's either currently on, depending when I put this vlog out, or it's on very, very soon. But it was really nice to see that as well. From our balcony we could actually hear and see some of the event going on, so that was really, really exciting. But if you wanted to, we didn't, but if you wanted to, you could have actually watched that. You could have spent the whole day off and gone ashore. So that was a really nice thing about this cruise. Another thing that was amazing was the evening entertainment. So on the first night, me and Dad went to an ABBA like tribute evening, which was amazing. We do sort of have low standards, I would say, for cruise line entertainment, because a lot of the time and a lot of the entertainment that we've seen hasn't been amazing. Now don't get me wrong, they work hard, they're very good at what they do, but it's not, a lot of the performances we've seen haven't been sort of West End or amazing performances. So our standard is quite low, regrettably, for entertainment, but on this cruise it was amazing. Like, the standard was very high. So I was really pleased with it. And they also did a really nice thing where they encouraged you to stand up and dance if you're able to. They encouraged you to film, they encouraged you to sort of take photos and, you know, all be up in the air and all of that, and like put your flashlights out when like the sad songs came on. It was such a fun atmosphere. There were loads of people just sort of dancing in the aisles, dancing around their seats. It was just a really fun show to watch, so I'm really glad we got to go to that one. So I just wanted to finish off with talking sort of about like the logistical finances and how we booked, because we booked this really last minute. We booked it about 3 weeks before, I think, 3 weeks before we went. We booked it through Igloo because at the time they were offering like a £10 per person discount if you book it online, rather than going through the MSC website directly. I typically always say book direct, because if there are any issues, if you need to speak to them, you have to go through your agent if you book through an agent. Luckily we didn't need to speak to anyone about anything, so it worked out fine for us. But on this occasion we did book because they were doing the £10 per person discount. So we booked through Igloo. The balcony cabin, we booked the Bella balcony fare, which essentially means you get your room allocated, you don't get any extras, you don't get, you know, all of the blah 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 good things that you would if you go higher. We just typically wanted as cheap as possible. We did want a balcony though, so not cheap, but yeah, we just thought, we don't care where we are, if it's a balcony, it's a balcony, we don't care. So we went for the Bella, which is the sort of most affordable fare, if you will. And it cost us £171 per person for the balcony cabin, which I think is amazing per person for 2 nights, because you probably won't even get like a mini break for that for 2 nights. And it was like almost all inclusive, full board I would say. So I think that was a really good deal. Now we didn't go for any drinks packages, any extras like that. As I've said before, we're not big drinkers, so we won't utilise it or make the most of it as maybe other people would. But yeah, if you maybe will make the most of like £90 per person per day for drinks, then definitely do it, because you'll be saving money. We obviously wouldn't be doing that at all. I had like 2 Cokes in a day and Dad had like 3 beers, so we're not going to be utilising any of the drinks packages. But again, like I said, we just wanted to be as cheap as possible. So all in all, if you didn't know already, I loved it. It was so much fun. It was honestly the best cruise I've probably been on, or the best short cruise I've been on in a long time. I've done quite a few short cruises, but this one just was perfect in every way. I cannot wait to go back. And I don't typically do this, but me and Dad were actually looking whilst we were on board at doing another one, and there's one in September, not a short one, but there is a cruise in September that we're hoping to potentially do. But there's also another cruise that we're looking to do at the same time, so we're not sure if we're even going to do a cruise. But it just shows how much you enjoyed it if you're already looking whilst you're still on board, and we cannot wait to book again. We honestly cannot wait to go back. So what I will say is, if you're in doubt, if you're reading reviews, if you're a bit apprehensive about booking an MSC cruise, I just do it, please. I beg you just to try it, because I had a fantastic time. I read all the reviews. We thought we were going to have a bit of a laugh and maybe come off the ship running. I know that sounds really negative and bad, but we honestly thought that was going to be the case, that we'd be like, no, never again. But it was the complete opposite. We cannot wait to book again. We are so happy that we tried it and gave it a go. And if you can, I would just do it. Just say yes, just give it a go. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.